That's a real question. Before we get right to work, how are folks feeling? How has the week been?
It was hard coming back after Mother's Day.
Was it?
Yeah, because it was a good day and I wanted to keep it going.
Well, my kids are still on vacation mode, even though I keep reminding them it is technically a school week, or technically we're still in school. So I'm struggling to have them believe that somehow we are really at school.
We're in school right now. It's official.
They're not necessarily agreeing to that. They don't believe them, so. But anybody else would like to share? How's your week going? How is it? How's your Tuesday so far? As I just try to connect here. But if you haven't met Amy, Amy is on, and she's a speech pathologist that we had invited, and she's going to present some great information for you. Feel free to ask questions. I think Amy prefers to do more of a dialogue than lecture.
Definitely.
Really a space for you to ask questions and be curious and share experiences. Don't feel that we're just gonna, lecture you. We really would like for it to be engaging. So feel free to ask away. So Amy, as I'm still trying to connect, feel free to start because it keeps doing this.
Okay.
So I don't want to waste any more time.
Okay. So I am a speech pathologist. I've been one, I think, since I was in high school. I knew that I wanted to do this from the beginning. But I've worked in Bursa 3 and school systems for the past 15 years. I'm currently in a pre-K through 8 school, and I love it, and I don't think I will ever be anywhere else. I love being able to be with the wide range of ages and be able to see the development of kids from 3 years old all the way up to 14. So it's been great. I actually came in contact with CPAC about 4 years ago. So my kids are 11 and 13. My son has a 504. So we had someone from CPAC that helped us out through the whole process of, the IEP referral process, and even knowing the process for myself, it's different when you're a parent. It's totally different when you're on the other side of the table. So, it was a different process, that having that support from CPAC was amazing. So one of the things that I wanted to mention was that when Luke needed speech therapy in Bursa 3 and preschool, I didn't want to be his speech pathologist. I wanted to be mom. And right now we are all doing the exact opposite and having to be speech pathologists and teachers and OTs and PTs, and it's tough and it's not natural for most of us. So, I just wanted to come at it from that angle of, this isn't normal for any of us. And most moms and dads aren't meant to be teachers and therapists, but that's what we're doing. So.
Thank you for sharing, because it has been a challenging experience. I have at home 3, 2 on IEPs and 1 on a 504, and still working from home and supporting parents. So it has been a challenge, and there are days where, I'm on top of it, or at least I think I am, with them and saying, no, we got to do the work. And there's so much on Google Classroom and the different learning platforms, from IXL to RazKids to Lexia, Duolingo, and some typing thing that my son has to do every day. And then there's days where I just get it. That's not what they need. They need something else from me. They need mom.
Right.
Teacher mom. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I needed, was setting up a schedule for myself. So my husband and I go through our schedule in the morning, who's got Zooms when and who's taking which kids when. And my 13-year-old is pretty independent, but my 11-year-old, on the other hand, makes noise constantly. He is always making noise, and I can't handle the noise. So we need to balance out who's got who when, and just kind of make sure that, you know, we can all get what we need to get done, and still be sane at the end of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Does anybody want to share what your experience has been like trying to do both? If you're mom and teaching, or mom and OT, and mom and anything else? Okay. So if you feel free to screen share, it's already set up that you could screen share.
Oh, you want me to?
Yeah, if you're ready, absolutely.
Sure. So there's, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, I thought I did it. Try it this way now. How about now?
Yep. So this graphic just got to me. So it talks about using different words to target language that you don't always think about. So often parents think about colors, numbers, letters, all those pre-academic skills, and really focusing on some of those core words, descriptors, and then also nouns and verbs. Kids are going to use hundreds of words before they are able to use numbers, count through 1 through 10, or label colors or label numbers. So really focusing on some of these core words as language development in terms of really what order kids learn language. They need all of those descriptors to be able to talk about those numbers, or to talk about you know, what they're seeing and playing with. So that was just kind of something that struck me as kind of a shift in perspective of what's most important when you're thinking about language development with little ones. Any thoughts or questions from anyone?
I didn't, I like seeing the where it says the core words. I didn't realize that those would be considered core words, so thank you.
Yeah, if you're thinking about even just those words, how many things a kid can get done, get their message across, how they can request more, they can protest and say down, or comment and say all done, like all of those different, they can do so many different types of language requests, comments, protests with those however many words are there. I can't even count right now. But you know, under 20 words, and they can get a lot of messages across with just those few words.
Absolutely. Very nice.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
If you go back to the previous slide,
Yep.
so we have the letters themselves. How can we accompany those with pictures, or how should parents do it with their young kids specifically, who don't have the ability to read the words, and can that be done throughout the day? Can you give us an example, perhaps?
Yeah, so actually my next picture here. So I laughed because one of the things was toilet paper rolls. We're all worried about toilet paper right now, but you can use common objects around the house for different tasks. So the examples here are using a toilet paper roll to make a tunnel for your cars. Talk about where the car is. So prepositions, is it on top of the roll? Is it through the tunnel? Is it under the tunnel? you can use the roll to make a telescope. So search for things. So that could be where you look for different colors or different sizes or shapes. So I want you to find as many green things as you can through your telescope, and then have them go on a hunt. Have them look for certain small things or circles or squares. And then you can use it for following directions. So having them, can they do 2-step directions? Go get the peanut butter and then a knife and bring it to the table. So that's getting 2 different things and then also bringing it to the table. Or do they need just 1-step directions? Go get a knife, and then go get the peanut butter, bring it to the table. So you know, seeing what a kid needs based on what they're showing you, based on how far they can take it. And you kind of want to always be pushing them a little bit further than they know that they can do, or that you know that they can do. So if you think that they can do 2 steps, try 3 steps. You know, if they always give them a little extra. So that's often called scaffolding. So if you're on the bottom rung of the ladder, can you bring them to the next step? Or can you bring them to the 3rd step? So that's kind of something that you can do with common objects, but that could be outside too. You know, go on a scavenger hunt looking for fuzzy things, or things that are alive, or different size words, humongous, large, big. You know, those could be all things that you're on a hunt for, and take turns. Who's gonna do the next one? Okay, now you tell me, what do you want mom to find? What do you want your brother to find? And who can find it first? Is that kind of answer your question? That was really a long answer.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anybody else would like to ask a question? Remember, this is a dialogue, so feel free to ask questions and share experiences.
You're muted, so just unmute and then you can ask.
Who is it?
Sadie?
Oh, Sadie, yes.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This couldn't have came at a better time. I work in a home visiting program, early childhood home visiting, and I just got a referral yesterday regarding a 2-year-old. He's 2 and 6 months. Mom was very concerned because he's not talking, and she feels discouraged because when he first started formulating words, it was dad, and because dad is not in the picture, she was like, yeah, no. I'm like, so instead of, no judgment, no judgment, I said, I'm just gonna listen. And I wanted to assure her that, you know, I don't think that was the stumbling block. It could have helped, but I don't think that was it. And she had birth at 3 services, but because of COVID-19, those services are sporadic. So in joining our program, I was like, I heavily suggest that you re-engage with your birth to 3 provider, because I think that's important. And I said, but also he's using some sign language. And I said, okay, are you describing things as he's, you know, as he picks up his cup, as opposed to pointing to it, you know, kind of nudge him a little to be like, what are you pointing at? What would you like, the cup? You want the cup? And just try to, like you said, that scaffolding and trying to help. But this couldn't have came at a better time, because she's like, oh my God, he's 2.5 months and he's not talking. And I had similar concerns with my daughter. My daughter's 32, so this is eons ago. When she was little, she didn't talk, and the pediatrician was like, but when she does, she'll never shut up. And true, it's not. And I'm okay with that. But is there anything that I can point towards? Because I wanted to have her connect with CPAC, because I had a lot of help with CPAC when Carmen Zardi was working at the Fairhaven Clinic. And she helped train me when I was working with Favor and when I needed services for my child. So that's it. I just wanted to know if there was anything else that you could point me towards in helping her.
Yeah, sure. So I can't agree with you more. Have them try to reconnect with Birth to Three if they can. The beauty of Birth to Three is that it is parent education. That is their focus, is not, they can definitely do therapy, you know, I mean, with the parent. The 2-year-old's probably not going to sit in front of a screen for a half hour and Zoom with a therapist, but the parent can. So, can the parent be playing with the child and the therapist giving them suggestions on what to do during their play? I can encourage families to get on the floor and play with their kid enough. Like, sit down next to your kid and watch a TV show with them. Have them retell the story. Have them call grandma and tell them what they just watched on Mickey Mouse, or I don't even know if Mickey Mouse is still on.
Yeah.
Still on. You know, and I realize with a 2.5-year-old that might not be possible, but older kids. So then when you're thinking about a 2.5-year-old, many parents have said to me, my kid's not talking. The focus really needs to be on receptive language first. Are they understanding language?
Down, you can hang out later.
Do they know what the words you're using mean? So that was my next actual.
Amy, can I please say something quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Sadie, I work for CPAC, and we have a program called Family Connections, and it's for families who are enrolled in Birth to Three. I don't know if the parents are aware, but there was an executive order that was passed, and it allows, in certain circumstances, for kids who turned 3 on March 16 or after to stay in Birth to Three, continue to receiving services. So if your mom qualifies, she should, like you said, Amy, reach out to Birth to Three, or she can reach out to me directly and I can point out the direction that she needs to take. I'll be happy to write my phone number in the chat. So that was just a small parenthesis as to the services. Thank you.
Yep, definitely. And I've heard lots of positive feedback from people that have been involved with Family Connections. So I agree and fully recommend it.
Okay.
One of the things that I was just going to mention was the commenting. So parents often question kids and don't comment enough. So it's often asking, what's this? What's that? Tell me this, label that. Focus on what your kid is interested in. Talk about it. Oh, you see them looking at a plane. So I see a plane. It's really high up in the sky. You know, where is it going? Not asking them to actually tell you where it's going, but just kind of having that dialogue with yourself even. But commenting more than questioning should always be my focus when I was talking to a Birth to Three family. Talk about what your kid's doing. Don't ask them questions, because these are often the kids that are the most stubborn, that aren't going to be telling you what you want them to tell you. How often do you ask a kid in front of someone, say hi, or say please, say thank you, and you're giving like directions, and they're like, yes, I'm out. You're not, I'm not going to be talking now. You're on me and you just keep talking to me and asking me questions. That's not when kids are going to answer. That's not when they're going to be talking. So.
Thank you for sharing that, Amy.
Yeah. I see lots of chats. Is there anything that I need to?
So the chats were, I put in Adriana's contact information. I put the email, her phone number, obviously her first and last name, and then I also added the main office as a follow-up for anyone that may have questions. So feel free, anyone, if you have questions, to kind of share, if you have any thoughts, if you want to add to the conversation. I don't see any hands up.
So one of the things I'm going to put a plug in for is getting outside. Get off your screens. My husband and I had the unique pleasure of going to Australia to research outdoor preschools. So schools that teach fully outside. I realize in Connecticut, especially right now, like we have not had the best weather, but they say that there's no bad weather, just bad clothing. So dress up, put on your rain boots and get outside. But that's where you can learn a lot with your kids. Having them do an I Spy game, you can work on articulation out there. Search for the sound that they're working on. That scavenger hunt, like I was saying, or, you could use a stick and work on letters and numbers if you want to in the dirt. That doesn't have to be sitting in front of a screen. So I wanted to just put that plug in. Get off your computers.
So Amy, a lot of schools are not providing speech services the way they once were, right? Because when they were in school, it was one-to-one or small group.
Right.
Now what I'm hearing from some families is that they're getting like a sheet or a message saying, practice, I don't know, these 5 words, or practice
Right.
this. And parents are kind of concerned with the loss of actual services. Do you have any recommendations? Are there any suggestions so that you can support families? Because there's some districts that are really against the video calls. They're not for it at all. And then there's some therapists that have called and spoken to kids, but the little ones don't want to get on the phone. So it makes it really hard to provide a service with limited access.
Yeah.
And parents are really struggling because these hours are not being met. And
Right.
the kids' speech is going to continue to regress as a result. So any suggestions for those families?
So I have a few things to say about that. Always reach out to your therapist. See, maybe they don't want to overwhelm you. I see Leona on there. At last reach out call, I had mentioned, that I don't want to overwhelm families either. I know that families are dealing with a lot. So I want to give them what they need, but also not overwhelm them. So reach out, see if maybe there's something else your therapist can do. Don't be afraid to reach out, at least. That's from my personal perspective. There are some school districts that are not allowing live video chats. There's not really any way you can get around that. Like if their union has made it so that they can't video chat, then there's other ways that they have to be able to provide services. There's lots of different things that therapists can use to tape themselves or so that they're not doing live chats, but it's kind of and Jane was the first one to say this to me, like, don't be afraid to reach out. That would be my biggest, suggestion is talk to the people that are on your kids' team, because they are there for your children. They want what's best for them. We wouldn't be doing this job if we weren't wanting what's best for kids. So, the other thing to keep in mind is all kids are in the same boat. We're all going to be coming back to school at some point and all going to be needing more different kinds of services. It's going to look different when we come back to school. So that regression part, for me, I'm not as worried about it because we're all going to be, everyone's regressing at this point, but also everyone's growing in so many different ways. So don't worry about it. And you can do this. I mean, take what your therapists and teachers have given you and try and make it fit for your family. I'm also feeling like, there's some families that are so overwhelmed with just life. And speech therapy shouldn't have to be an added task. It should be in your daily routines. It should be sitting down at the dinner table and talking about your day. And you can still talk about your day. Like, tell me one good thing, one bad thing about your day. It doesn't have to be, you know, things that your family doesn't know about. It can still be the things that you guys experienced together throughout the day. So we're all in this together.
Thank you for sharing. I don't want to end the call without having to ask once again if anybody has like something that's kind of bubbled up and they would like to share or ask, or maybe as a result of some of what Amy has shared today, you now have some pressing concerns. We really want to make sure that as families, when you join these calls, that this is really an opportunity for you to speak directly to the presenters or even to staff. There's actually 3 staff. Myself, Keo, I work out of the New Haven satellite office. There's Adriana, and she is in charge of the family connections and also pre-K Pathfinder. Leona as well as the parent consultant. So we're here to help you, and when you ask questions, it allows us to know, you know, if there's a theme going on, is there a pattern, you know, who do we need to start reaching out to see if we can start seeing changes. So thank you for joining us and being committed to working with us. We will have on Thursday another reach out call. That's where we're going to have Dr. Mary Beth Allison talk about ADHD in the brain. And then at 3 o'clock, Leona with Lisa is going to have a support call in English. And they're going to be doing this, I believe, weekly. Right, Leona? Interesting. Oh, did I lose her?
She's muted, or she's not muted, but we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Leona.
Nope.
No.
Maybe type it in the chat. I don't know.
Maybe in the chat. Well, it says mute now. Let's try this again. How about now? No. Sorry.
Keo, I just wanted to mention that Carla Cruz is on the chat. She wrote, any materials we can provide to families?
So Amy, is there anything that you may have that you would like to share with families, and we can definitely post it on our Facebook page?
Yeah, sure. The pages that I shared, I had gotten online, so we would just have to give credit where credit's due. It's not my materials, but yeah, we could definitely share some things.
Perfect. So Carla, if you want, you can send me a private message, and then I can also email it to you directly. If not, at the very least, we'll make sure to post it as soon as we get it on our Facebook page. And then Leona said, yes, every Thursday at 3. Thanks, Leona. Just want to make sure. So this is going to be new for us. And this is going to be just so that parents have a space where they can chat with staff and feel heard and have an opportunity to kind of get whatever is bubbling up for them, and have a safe space to do so. So it's not going to be a presentation. It's not necessarily going to be about a learning anything. It's just really giving you that space. However, as you guys start talking and they start sharing, I'm sure you're going to be learning stuff. And then it says Tuesdays are going to be moving up to 3 as well. So keep that in mind, that the Tuesdays at 10 a.m. calls are going to be switched to 3 with a specific topic. That's what Leona shared. So Amy, do you have any last words you want to say, or?
See that Kara asked a question about downloading the materials. I did. That's how I got them, is I just downloaded them from different websites. I think the first few were from Tandem Speech Therapy. So yeah, I just got them online. Other than that, Keo, no, I don't think so. I'm happy to have been here. It was nice chatting. And I'm happy to always ask any questions if families have questions.
So thank you, everybody. We appreciate that you connected with us today. I hope you all have a lovely week ahead. Please join us on Thursday at 10 and also at 3. You have our contact information. You can always reach out to us. You can also check our Facebook page and we tend to post stuff that's going on in the community as well. So thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Kio. Bye-bye.